Welcome to Leadership in Transition, a special Soul Career podcast series where we explore what it means to lead through major life and career changes. I'm your host, Lisandra Rickards, and in this episode, we're spotlighting someone who has been both a pillar and a partner to me in shaping the Soul Career journey, Beatriz De La Poza. Beatriz joined Soul Career in November 2021 as a leadership and career coach. Over time, she became so much more than that. An essential teammate, an investor, and or chief operating officer. Together, we've led workshops across the Caribbean and elsewhere, coached hundreds of professionals, and co-created a business rooted in purpose, values, and growth. After 8 transformative years in Barbados and 4 years with Soul Career, Beatriz is now preparing to return to Europe. This time, not just as a seasoned executive coach, but as a woman who has reshaped her life to align fully with her values. Today, we talk about that journey, about what it means to leave a place that shaped you, about courage, reframing, and the evolution of leadership in the midst of change. Let's dive in. So, Beatriz, let's start with where you are right now. After 8 years in Barbados, you're heading back to Europe. How did you know it was time to make this move?
Well, I didn't know, and I still don't know really. We are moving because I'm following my husband's job, and he has to go back to headquarters. So it's a decision we've made based on, like what is best for our kids and for the family unit. Yeah. So we don't feel really happy about leaving the Caribbean, but we just want to do what is right for them and getting them closer to family and learning different languages. And yeah, that's where we are.
Yeah, I've been through this emotional up and down with you. I think you first learned about this a year ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what's been the emotional reality of facing a move like this?
Well, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, and it still is today. And we are very much aware that it's gonna still be bumpy for a while. And we have felt really excited sometimes, but also it's been very difficult for us to think about relocating after 8 years and a half of what we consider one of the best chapters in our life. Mm-hmm. So we are ready for that. We are ready for the bumps and the ups and downs. But yeah, it's been a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been very emotional for me because you joined Soul Career 1 year after we launched it, or maybe a year and a half. So
Mm-hmm.
you've been there from almost the very beginning for the past 4 years, and you've really been beside me building it along the way. And you have so much institutional knowledge about the company, and so it's very emotional for me to think about this transition as you move to a different time zone with different obligations. Um, so tell me, let's talk about your time at Soul Career. What are the moments that stand out for you?
Well, Soul Career was like a godsend to me. When I was just doing some coaching on my own, and then suddenly it was destiny to find you and the company. And it's been really like a catapult for me professionally to take me to the next level in terms of leadership training, professional development, and also executive coaching. And I just feel like it was the best thing that could happen to me. And I learned a lot. I think we created an amazing team. We worked together really good. We got along really well. We learn from each other. We complement each other in many things. We're very alike, but also we can learn a lot from each other. So it's been an amazing adventure, and I will always feel very grateful for all the learnings.
Yeah.
And the moments that stand out for me has been like the personal impact, not only with you as the boss and inspiration, a source of learning and understand, like learning from you, but also with the clients, the times that by the end of the coaching, they tell me how transformational it has been. There was tears. There's been, you know, things that they tell you that they stuck with you. The recognition of the personal impact we have in people with these programs and the coaching is priceless.
Yeah. When I think about, the way we work together, um, there's a new assessment that we've been using recently called the visionary first versus the integrator, right? And you have been that integrator, that operational person holding us to project deadlines, making sure we get everything done, while I'm like ideas and big picture and let's move in this direction, let's create this podcast around your move. And it's so essential to have someone who can actually get the team together around completing everything we need to complete in order to get all these projects we've done together done, right? So thank you for that.
Yes, thank you for all the vision and the creativity, and just take me sometimes out of the my track, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, I think we challenge each other, we learn from each other. It's been exceptionally good.
Yeah, some of the moments that stand out for me are actually the hardest moments we've gone through together, like building soul career entrepreneurs. That was a task. We hired
Yes.
7 writers, editors, graphic designers, web developers, and it was just nonstop for months in the trenches, just like, right? That's a standout moment for me. Yeah.
And the trips for me, I really remember when I went to Jamaica and we were, together and we met the clients, but also when I went to Puerto Rico and met the clients and delivered the workshops, like all those trips, like face to face, when you really make the real connection as well, have been very valuable, and they're a highlight in my experience and in my memories.
Yeah, I went to Barbados in 2023, and that was the
Mhm.
first time we met in person
Yes,
after working together for 2 years, right?
that's true. I remember that. And then people were like, "You've never been in Jamaica yet?" At the beginning, we're like, "No, we're just very efficient and very lean."
That's the reality of running a remote first organization, right? So before you became a coach, you were in the corporate world with a very rich corporate background and history with some very big brands. What was the turning point that led you off of the corporate path and into the coaching world?
Yes, it wasn't a conscious decision. It was life taking me organically to a place where I followed my husband to Barbados, and they told me at the beginning I didn't have a working permit. So I was the wife of a diplomat, and I just thought I need to learn something. If I cannot work, I need to study something. And then one of my best friends told me, "You should go into coaching. You will be amazing at that." And I started one course just for the sake of it to get entertained. And then I didn't know I was going to find my purpose, my ikigai, my passion. But then I found myself just doing something that I love, that I think I became quite good at. And then a few years later, just finding soul career, and just a culmination of, just taking it to the next level. So yeah, it was organically life taking me there. It wasn't a conscious decision.
Yeah, you were the first coach at Soul Career that was certified by the International Coaching Federation. And you actually taught us a lot of those processes around ethical and proper one-on-one coaching. Because we were really focused on group training and group coaching before you came on board, and you really brought that one-to-one nurturing experience. But your background at Amazon and Avery Dennison in Europe, you brought that operational expertise. And that's what makes Soul Career unique. We combine that real practical leadership with the heart-based, soulful, purpose-driven coaching. And that's the difference, really, that we bring, don't you think?
Yes. And that's exactly what our main program stands for.
Mhm.
There is a lot of know yourself as a leader, so that you can better manage, be more intentional, and lead others. But it's also, how do you make a proper strat plan, and how do you put some order and structure into the vision, and you make sure that your deliverables are according and aligned to your objectives and your mission, and that you prioritize. So yeah, I think it was just a perfect fit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And, at the beginning, some of our clients, because we have a lot of Caribbean clients, and then we have our clients in Puerto Rico, and we had clients in the Netherlands and Wales and Miami and Cayman and London. So having that, bridging that cultural, just bringing cultures together, that's a big
Yeah.
thing that we do. And especially because you're bilingual, Spanish national, you coach in English and Spanish. But, we've had that question about what's your background in the Caribbean? Do you understand the Caribbean culture? So you've been in the Caribbean now for 8 years. What did the Caribbean teach you about yourself as a person and a leader?
Well, I feel that in a past life I was also a Caribbean because
I think
it's
so.
very I felt really at home from the beginning in Barbados, but also in the Caribbean. I think I learned two main things here. My two big learnings is the value of you know feeling blessed and gratitude. I think Caribbean people really have that notion of like just counting your blessings, which I think it inspires everything about enjoying life to the fullest and so on. And I think it allowed me to develop fully into who I wanted to be, because when you start in a new place and you have a mix of cultures and so on, there is no so much condition of what is expected from you. So you become even more authentic. So what
Yeah,
I like about living in different countries is that at the end of the day, you develop your authenticity, sorry, without so many of your old programs or patterns that you bring from your past. So I think I just became more myself, and then I focus more of living to enjoy and counting my blessings. Yeah.
mm. And how did you overcome that question that we sometimes got asked around? Did you understand the Caribbean background enough to coach our Caribbean clients?
Well, I guess the same way we do coaching, right? We ask questions, we become curious, and we don't never assume that we know better.
Mhm.
So did I know Jamaican culture when I started coaching Jamaicans? No. Did I listen carefully and try to be present and really understand the nuances and their beliefs and the mandates they live by? I did my best. So I guess, and also with the psychometrics, we use a lot of psychometrics in our programs, which is something I love and I learned from you. And that also gives you now, after doing coaching and psychometrics to more than 200 people in Jamaica and Barbados, you can see patterns in terms of cultural preferences, communication preference, and so on. So it's really interesting, but I guess it's been a learning process. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's a really key thing, bringing up what a real coach is. A coach centers the client. It's not about themselves or their backgrounds. It's really putting the client at the center, getting really curious, asking questions, powerful questions, and having that transformation. So that goes across cultures, but
Yeah.
also apart from that, your openness and authentic connection and soulfulness, one of the reasons we hired you is what allows you to connect so easily with people from all over the world, I think.
Thank you.
How do you think you've changed since moving to Barbados? And what are you carrying forward from that?
I think I feel more confidence within myself regarding my profession.
Yeah.
I understood a lot of things from myself, also because of Soul Career and the job that I do now, about what it meant that, I could do every job, and I never had a very clear orientation of like, I'm a finance person or a project manager and so on. And then I saw the pattern. The common denominator is connecting with people. And I saw the pattern of inspiring and giving energy to others. And I saw the pattern of communication. And suddenly everything makes sense. And then it's like, well, this is what I love doing. So when I go back, I want to keep doing this. That, and personally also just becoming, I guess it's age as well, but becoming more grounded with myself and more certain of my own values and what I want and what I don't want.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a very similar thought this morning that I don't please others as much as I used to. I try to please myself more, and that makes me more grounded and more authentic. And being a coach really helps with that, right? Really.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then when we please others, because it's also not only about me, but when you please others, it comes from a place of like really wanted to do something for other people, but not out of a place of a sense of obligation. And
Yeah.
that's the difference, right? Like you just, I think you're more true to yourself.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So, as you return to Europe, what does the next chapter look like? The big question.
Well, to be honest, I was thinking before I read this question and I thought I had a metaphor in my mind and I saw a book because I really like the metaphor of the chapters in life and so on. I use it a lot in my coaching as well. And I saw a book and I saw a very clear page for my kids. Oh, yeah, they're going to European school. They can walk to school. They can take a tram, independence. Okay, great. Making new friends. I saw the page for my husband. He has a job. He comes back to that job, the building, the new people, this project, this function. And then my page is blank. It's like, okay, here we go again. So that's how it looks like now. But I've been knowing that creativity doesn't come always whenever you need it. I've been actually working now for months on a vision board. And every time I have an idea of something I would love to do in the future, I just write it down. So I guess when I get there and I have a blank page on my chapter, I can just go to that list and start with, let's do this course that I always wanted to do. Let's try this, this thing, this workshop, this trip. Yeah. So
And I don't think we've said it yet on the podcast, but you're moving to Luxembourg.
yes.
So Beatrice's husband is from the Netherlands, Beatrice is from Spain, and she's actually moving back to Luxembourg where her husband works.
And that's another thing that I need to do. I need to polish my French because even though I will try to work in Spanish or English, the 90% of conversations and life happens in French. So that's another thing. You just go there and you need to start kind of fine tuning those skills in order to survive in the new context.
Hmm. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to put it out there that you are still an investor and owner of Soul Career, and I'm not going to let you go that easily. And I know some of our clients, especially our bilingual clients or Spanish speaking clients, want to keep you as their coach. So you're
Yeah.
not disappearing from us, but this is a new phase, definitely entering a new phase and a major life transition.
Yes.
So, as a coach, what advice would you give to someone going through a major life transition?
That's a very good question because I've been trying to ask myself the same thing. Like, I need to thrive through this transition because I'm a coach. So, and I will highlight the power of reframing.
Yeah.
I've seen other people live in Barbados, other people before, and because of the narrative they had, they suffer a lot, or not, but it was all the way they actually told the story of living the transition, how they framed the narrative make all the difference. So I've been
Mhm.
really forcing myself to have something to look forward to reframe in a positive way. And that's why I make that vision board to start getting ideas of what could be exciting about the new place, what could be a gift and a learning opportunity in the new place. So just kind of to focus on what to look for instead of just focusing on the gap, what is missing now. It's the sunshine, where is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And one thing I always do is write. I need to write to hear myself think and to organize my
Mhm.
thoughts. And so journaling around who do I want to be now and what matters to me now and how can I really take advantage of all these opportunities that are opening up to me as I move into this new space. Yeah, that helps a lot.
Yeah, that's a really good one as well. So I guess reframing and journaling in order to get some clarity and organizing your thoughts. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then we've been working a lot on Soul Careers transition, bringing in another coach to help support on the delivery of training and coaching. And we have a fantastic, fantastic coach. We're bringing in another business support person to help us just keep the ship and the machine running with no interruptions for our clients as we go through these changes ourselves.
Yes. No, of course. And I still feel connected to Soul Career. And that's probably why the penny hasn't dropped, in the sense that I'm not feeling that the change is so radical, right? Um, but I think my preference is to keep that page blank right now, because I just love the idea of discovery and surprise.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a planner and I like structure, but in this case, when I get to a new country, I just want to be surprised. I want to explore what is possible.
Mhm.
So yeah, let's see. Let's see.
So I have a surprise question for you, a
Oh,
last one. So the name of this particular series within the podcast is Leadership in Transition, right?
mhm.
So how do we lead while we're in transition? How do you answer that question? How are you leading while you're in transition?
I think my answer is emotional courage, meaning being comfortable with being uncomfortable. So knowing that I'm gonna go through an emotional roller coaster, and guess what? I'm gonna be down and I'm gonna go through that. So I guess taking the courage to know that you're gonna have to go through that transition, and it's gonna be difficult or uncomfortable, but you're still gonna go through it. So emotional courage, I would say.
Hmm. Yeah, that was a hard one. How would I answer that? How do I lead in transition? Finding support, I think. Um, I like thinking as a team always. I feel more supported and happier when I have great people around me. So it's who can I depend on? Who can I reach out to? Who can I call for advice? Who can I brainstorm with? And that person has been you around how we lead and move through a transition, right? So thank you for being that person for me for so many years.
Oh, thank you, Lisandra. This is really touching my heart, and I feel extremely grateful for the opportunity to work with you with Soul Career, for all the learnings and the experiences. It's been amazing, really.
So, thank you guys for listening to this episode of Leadership in Transition. This series in the podcast explores what it means to lead through major life and career changes. Beatrice's story is a powerful reminder that leadership isn't just about titles or strategies, it's also about aligning your life with your truth, even while you're making these bold moves. So, as Beatrice returns to Europe, we celebrate all that she's given to us at Soul Career and as a coach, and we look forward to seeing how her next chapter unfolds. If this episode resonated with you, please subscribe, share it with someone who's in transition, and leave us a review. And look out for our other episodes in this series where we explore themes like turning 40, leaving the corporate world, going back to the corporate world after taking a break. So until next time, keep leading with soul.